Hey, Melissa, I wanted to get something in your hands for you to kind of play with your home gym uh, over next week. And this is even something you can kind of toy around with, continuously. And we can refine this, but I wanted to get something to you, and I figured if I shot a video, it'd be quicker, it'll get done. If I needed to email you, it'd be a little, it wouldn't get done, or it would probably be sometime next week before I actually got it to you. Um, so I apologize in advance if this seems a little disjointed. Uh, let's walk you through this. So what I would recommend, especially since you're going to be training here 3 days a week, starting the 1st of September. Um, you don't necessarily, you want to kind of just practice, so to speak. And I would say, if anything, you're kind of practicing the alignment, the breath, and the alignment, breathing, and control of these exercises. There's a couple of different ways you can put things together. You can do what we call straight sets, where basically you do like 3 sets of an exercise, 3 sets of 10, let's just say, of an exercise, and then move on to the next thing. Um, a lot of times with home workouts, just for the sheer sake of of being efficient, um, I would do it as like a circuit, unless you're really trying to put up some heavy weight and build strength, which you're going to be doing in here. But if you're just kind of playing around, doing it as a circuit, just getting your heart rate up and moving efficiently through each exercise, works fine. Um, the way I'm going to organize this for you today is we're gonna do your leg based exercise first. So we're gonna put two little things together for you. Each workout's going to consist of a leg dominant movement, like a deadlift or a squat, an upper body push or press, an upper body pull or row, um, meaning like a pull up or a row, a vertical pull or a horizontal pull, and then some kind of single leg based exercise. And then we'll throw some basic core stuff in there too, some stuff that you can kind of toy around with. Um, let's dive you in. So again, you can do it as a circuit, or you can do it as straight sets. Leave it completely up to you. So the first thing let's just call this day one or workout one. You're going to do a Romanian style deadlift. And this is, we've been doing this we did this a little bit with a kettlebell, but we've been working so much, when we get together, we've been working so much on your big lifts. We haven't done this in a while. But I'm going to use a dumbbell for demonstration, because that's what you have in your home gym. The Romanian style deadlift is where we start from the top down. So we're going to start the breath. First, let's find our alignment. We're going to stack the rib cage over the pelvis, right? Just like you do with your breathing. Can you expand in a 360-degree fashion, right? So start the inhale, find the alignment, start the inhale, feel the expansion, hinge into position. This is like your swing. We're going to soft bend the knees, but we're sending the butt back. Exhale as you stand. So again, start the breath, feel the expansion, soft bend the knees, send the hips back. Now, so you can use a dumbbell to do this, right? You can use a barbell to do this. Start off light. Looked like you got a pretty good selection of dumbbells in the video that you sent me. So you may be able to do this and it be stimulating enough with a dumbbell. If you want to do it with two dumbbells, it's more of a parallel stance versus one dumbbell, wider stance, right? Think about these dumbbells kind of staying glued to the thighs. Start the inhale. Feel the expansion. Send the hips back. Exhale and come up, right? Start the inhale. Feel the expansion. Send the hips back and come up. Notice it's as if I was dropping a plumb line from my shoulders down through my midfoot to the floor. What I don't want is this, right? Again, just like your swing, this is a hinge. We're sending the hips back, knees release, but they don't move forward in space. The other thing you can do is you have a barbell. You can do the same thing with the barbell, right? Start the inhale, feel the expansion, lower into position, exhale as you press, right? Watch your back doing these. I'd keep this weight pretty light, especially to start off with. Make sure you have that breath. Um, you know what? I just realized we have you doing a narrow sumo with your deadlift. So you may even want to kind of toy around with this. You know what? Now that I think about it, don't stick with that either here with the barbell or those two variations with the dumbbells. Um, the next thing let's toy around with is so that would be workout, that would be exercise one. Exercise two, you have a bench. You can really do one of two things. You can do the bench press that we worked on yesterday, or just you got to be careful with that because you really don't want to do that without a spotter. I mean, as long as you're doing it lightly and you don't put the collars, which lock the plates in place on the bar, you can be safe. But for right now, I would avoid barbell bench pressing without a spotter. So you can use your dumbbells. We haven't done this yet, but we will. Um, Everything is the same, except for we're going to take our dumbbells. And again, I think you were doing like 55 for sets of five. I think is what we stopped you at yesterday. You know, you would probably be, I mean, I'm sure you would be fine with the 15s. You know, start light though. There's no reason to go heavy. Um, my recommendation when it comes to dumbbells is if you can't get them into position, you probably shouldn't be pressing them, right? So to get into position, we're going to go back, bring the dumbbells up. Same idea with your bench press. You're pressing through the floor, squeezing the butt, arching in the back, lifting through the chest. Start your inhale. Feel the expansion. Keep the engagement of your lats as you lower into position. Exhale as you press. Start the breath. Feel the expansion. Lower into position. Exhale as you press. If you need to just dump them, you can dump them as long as your shoulders feel okay doing so. But that's kind of the trick to get it. You bring your knees up, bring the dumbbells to the knees, and just rock up with them. All right, well, listen, the next thing we're going to do is the cool thing about your little home gym is you got a cable machine attached to the rack. Um, Now we haven't spent a whole lot of time doing this, just because of we've been focusing on your big lifts, dialing in like um, your your pull up. So we haven't put much emphasis on some of the smaller lat stuff. But what you can do, and you'll probably have to just kind of position your bench in a way where you can get some leverage by pushing into the rack or pushing into something. But we're just going to do just a good old fashioned pull down or high row. So I'm pushing my feet into this. I'm lifting through the sternum, right? Start the breath, feel the expansion, extend into position, exhale, pull. Start the inhale, feel the expansion, extend into position, exhale, pull. You can toy around with even doing one arm, which we'll do a variation of this. Um, and I think we already have at least one time, right? Right, so the big thing to remember here is think elbow into the front pocket or front ribs, shoulder blade goes into the back pocket. We want this position, not this position, lifted through the sternum. All right, so Melissa, honestly, like I would start with that, and then if you want, maybe finish off that little series with a little bit of core work. So you can do that core series that we have that we do together, or you can play around with, yeah, I think like the hollow hold, or and or a plank at the end of that series, and just do that series. Do that series like 2 to 3 times. Right now, again, you're just trying to really dial in the breath and the position. So go maybe 10 to 15 repetitions maximum. Really, where we want you is about 10 to 12. But 12 feels easy, take it to 15. If 15 feels easy, take that weight up. Especially when it comes to like some of your dumbbells, because you got a pretty good collection of dumbbells, or if you're doing anything with your barbell, like that barbell Romanian style deadlift. Again, you can do it as a circuit where you're going from one exercise to the next, or you can do 3 sets, then move on to the next exercise. Um, all right, and we'll add on to this. When you're here, we'll start doing more. We'll do some single leg variations as well. And what I recommend when I go away, my home workout usually consists of some kind of double leg exercise like that deadlift, some kind of push, some kind of pull, and then some kind of single leg exercise like a single leg squat or something like that, which we'll dive into more and more. I think for just next week, don't worry so much about it. We'll get into it and we'll get into how to execute them well. And then some kind of core-based exercise. So workout number 2, if you choose to do it, is we're going to start off with some kind of squat. And what we played with, and God, I'm just trying to think back. I'm pretty sure we've done a goblet squat for you. Now, we can take the goblet squat is we take a dumbbell, we hold it in this position, big goblet position, hence the name. Heels outside shoulder width apart, feet slightly turned out. This is what we used a kettlebell for this, right? Same things apply, right? Start the inhale, feel the expansion. In this case, right, the knees release forward and out so the hips can drop down and back. Now, so that's an option, right, to work on your squat pattern. And I like goblet squats a lot because they're going to translate to a lot of what we're going to do in here together. The other option you can do, if that feels any funky at all, or if you want to just have a different variation, is we can take your dumbbells and we can do more of a parallel stance, right? And the same thing here. You can load yourself a little bit heavier here typically because you're going to be holding on to 2 dumbbells, but it does change the mechanics, as far as like what muscles get loaded and how they get loaded. But same thing applies. Start that inhale, feel the expansion, lower into position, exhale, come up. Start the breath, feel the expansion, lower into position, exhale, come up. You can come all the way down, especially if you got some heavy weights in your hands. Come all the way down. Give yourself a little reprieve. Exhale, drive forward and up. Right? If it's a little bit lighter, you can focus a little bit more on just tapping the box or bench, and then exhale, drive up. All right. So the next thing, Melissa, and this is we have not done this yet, just like we haven't done the dumbbell bench press, but it's going to give you a little bit of variety. We'll get into this. We'll do this. These are a little awkward. I'm not going to lie. But I think as opposed to having you do some kind of overhead press with a dumbbell, which is, I find really awkward. They work better with a kettlebell. We're going to do something called a incline dumbbell bench press. We can work some of these upper chest fibers or pec fibers in front of the shoulder joint without necessarily putting too much strain on this upper neck area, which I know can sometimes get aggravated for you. Well, let me just dive you right in. What you're going to do, just like with your dumbbell and your barbell bench press, it's all about creating this structure, this kind of hyper structure, arched structure. So we're going to press through the floor. Well, let me back up. You want to adjust your bench, which your bench looks like it can adjust. If it's rusted, it may not. I didn't get the chance to really kind of look through there real well, but you may, depending upon how, I've got a couple of benches that, I got a little home gym, and man, it just rusts so fast and they get to the point where they just can't move. If yours can move, then obviously you can do this. And if you can, we'll put it up at about a 45 or a little bit steeper angle. So like a 45 to 60 degree angle. So again, pressing through the floor, arching in the back, lifting through the chest. I like to get my shoulder blades nice and flush against the bench here. Again, you want to just make sure you're pressing your feet into the floor. Otherwise, you're going to get an arch in your back. Nice big inhale, exhale, press. So, right Here, same thing. Start the inhale. Feel the expansion, upper chest, upper lungs, upper ribs. Lower into position. Exhale as you press. Start the inhale. Feel the expansion. Lower into position. Exhale as you press. I forgot what I was gonna say, give you a note, but I completely forgot what that was. Uh, so the last exercise I would do in this series, and God, I'm trying to think of. You may even have. Oh man, Melissa, I think you might even have a little something. Let me just check your notes real. I just want to look at your. For some reason, I feel like. Okay, so I can't tell. I thought you might have had a suspension trainer. Um, but we can use your cable machine. I would say that I'm not sure if your cable machine allows you to adjust it. If it does, what we can do is do more of a vertical or horizontal pull. Sorry. A horizontal pull. Pressing through the floor, arching in the back, moving through the chest. Right? So if it adjusts, you can add a horizontal pull. We're going to be doing various different variations of this. So not a bad idea to kind of play with that. The other option is we do, again, maybe one time during one workout, you're doing the pull down together. Maybe the other workout, you're going single arm. Right? Same ideas apply. Right? Shoulders back and down, elbows in, keep finding that lat. Start the inhale, feel the expansion, exhale, pull. So there are two different workouts. Each workout has 3 different exercises. You can always throw the core stuff in at the end. Again, like that hollow hold. 3 sets of 20 sharp exhalations, or you can do your plank. And here, let me show you real quick. So, especially if you end up doing this as a circuit, right? You do, like, for instance, your deadlifts, your presses, your pull, and then you come down into your core work. And I think we have you in the other video I sent to you, right? We're doing that hollow hold. With that, do three sets of 20 sharp exhalations, right? We would consider that one rotation, right? So 3 sets, 20 sharp exhalations. It's about 10 seconds worth of work. Meaning 20 sharp exhalations is about 10 seconds worth of work. And then again, you can always cruise back through. All you're trying to do is really dial in your ability to maintain good alignment while doing these lifts, and then really focusing on that breath and getting that breath in properly. Melissa, I hope this is helpful. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. Obviously, I'll see you next Wednesday, and then we'll get you started that following week. But hopefully this is helpful, and it'll give you some ideas on how to put some stuff together for next week. Reach out if you need anything. I'll see you soon.